So, gentlemen, we saw a little movie this weekend.
Just a little.
A little movie that Johnny64 sends me the trailer and actually doesn't even send me the trailer. He says, "Oh, let's watch Fly Me to the Moon." I was like, "Ooh, what is this? Let's see the trailer." I watched the trailer and thought to myself, "Oh, this looks like a good sci-fi movie."
Didn't we do a video on the trailer?
No, we did not.
I could have sworn we did.
No,
Or maybe we
not.
passed it over. Huh.
So he tells us about Fly Me to the Moon. We watched the trailer. In my head, I was like, "Oh, this is like a semi-sci-fi documentary
like a
style,
60s period piece on like the Apollo 11."
Right,
yeah.
exactly. We didn't do any research on the movie or anything. We just said, "Yeah, sure, let's go." And what did we do? We go to the movie theater.
Oh no.
We sit down, all three of us. We order our popcorns and everything. We're sitting down, and all of a sudden, I look and I see nothing to the left and to the right of us but couples. And I turn around to Johnny. I was like, what's going on over here? So I check IMDb, and IMDb has it listed as a rom-com. So all three of us are at a rom-com. I turn around to Johnny. I was like, "Yo, you know this is a rom-com." He's like, "No,
I
it's
did not know that.
No, it's not." And I was like, "Oh, look." And then all of a sudden, we're looking at the door as more and more people are coming in, and there's more and more couples coming in. And I thought that was pretty funny. Nowhere in this trailer did it look like a rom-com.
No. And I did catch the trailer myself, like on Apple TV Plus when they were advertising it.
Right.
And it looked like an interesting premise. It takes place in the 60s during the Apollo 11 mission, all that stuff. And it even the plot goes into like the notion of there possibly being like the fake moon landing and all that stuff. I was like, that sounds interesting. But like sprinkled in that is this relationship between the two main characters with Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. And so we were sitting like after seeing like all the couples sit down, we were like, "Oh man, what did I just get everybody into?" And by the end of the movie, we were like, "That wasn't really a rom-com.
No,
that was probably like I said, it was like 5% rom-com, 20% like 5% romance, 20% comedy, and the rest of it was all like period piece, like historical piece or semi-historical, because I think this was like kind of fiction, kind of not."
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of the fake moon landing stuff was actually real. Probably it was all fabricated. Who knows? But the fake moon landing was fake. But that was But it was. But end of the day, I thought it was a really good movie. It was
very enjoyable.
I did. I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
There was maybe like 2 scenes in that whole movie where it might have reminded you of a rom-com. Literally only 2-3 scenes max. A total of maybe 3 minutes throughout the whole movie that it was a rom-com. For the most part, you had Channing Tatum running around making sure that, his job as the director, that everything was going to go, well and, right. And there was a couple of scenes with romance.
The romance.
Like I feel like we didn't even get like a scene like this behind you.
No,
where she's like doing his tie and like in front of the moonlight and everything.
Well, no,
they kissed once, but like
yeah, but this scene was taken out of context because this is right before he did his interview with
right.
So
and which isn't even like a rom-com moment. That's just part of what he was doing.
Yeah. So
yeah, this movie was so much more than that. I love the backdrop of a fictional story to real life events that they use for this story. This movie definitely had great layers to it.
Very.
It was you saw the human element that probably based on true events. The to get this successful Apollo mission to go to the moon, and they actually played off a real event of a tragedy that happened, that astronauts for real lost their lives. And with this phenomenal cast, so you had Scarlett Johansson's character, who has a shady past that
she was basically Black Widow in this movie again.
she's a very good talker, spins things a certain way, gets what she wants. It turns out that her character's name, Kelly Jones, is not a real name. She's a con artist, which you can tell. But she uses her knowledge, her wit, to get what she wants. Like Tatum's like, it's one focus, one mission. Is to put that, a man on the moon, and then he's getting outside interference from Kelly and our team, and she getting all these sponsors, and eventually he gives in and goes along. And then you had like a spy thriller element. Woody Harrelson's shady government secret agent that represents the government, saying, oh, trying to spin it so they achieve their goal. So you had that. All these great things came together, and I stick by what I said in the short, that it's going to live up to 2 words, Oscar buzz. So like when nominations go out, this movie better, I can see.
I think it'll get a nomination somewhere. I don't think it's going to win any awards. Like I think it's a fun movie. It was a solid movie. Apple did a great job like putting it out or choosing it to put out because I don't think they made it themselves. But it didn't move the needle with anything. It was.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I do want to say that Channing Tatum in this movie acted his ass off.
Yes, he did.
Because he wasn't playing your stereotypical, let me take my shirt off, show my 6-packs type character that he does in every other movie, right? In this movie,
he had the same shirt in every single scene. There's just different colors.
He was like me, just changing different color shirts.
that semi-turtleneck thing from the 60s, I guess. I don't know.
Which made me feel like he was a Star Trek character.
Yeah, the yellow shirt looks Star Trek.
I don't know why, but yeah. So I feel like he played a character so different than he normally does that I was very surprised at maybe he had a lot of acting lessons prior to this. I don't know, but it was great.
This is definitely one of his best acting roles he's done.
Yeah.
A character that definitely had substance, a character that had a lot of emotion, that was on a mission, that wanted to achieve its goal. In addition to the 2 stars, great cast all around. Like Ray Romano in a supporting role. You would think he'd only be in a few scenes. Like he helped carry the story. He
was like almost the heart. Well, I guess you can't say he was the heart because they were supposed to be the heart of the rom-com. But like he was a very sympathetic character.
Yeah,
like,
he was also the comedic effect in some scenes.
Oh, well, because he's Ray Romano.
I think. But
why hire a comedian? Right?
Yeah.
But everybody's gonna love Raymond in this. One of the most famous sitcom stars of all time. But he proves he has the acting chops for a dramatic role. Jim Rash. He was on a famous comedy in the 2010s that I love, Community. He's actually
That's where he's from. I was like, where's that guy
He's
from?
Academy Award winning screenwriter, so he has experience in movies. He was great.
Go ahead, yeah.
He was, great in his role as a TV director. He's in charge of pulling off the filming of the fake moon landing.
Right.
What were we gonna say?
I was gonna say about Woody Harrelson. I mean, Woody is.
You need a creepy character.
Amazing. Woody Harrelson is an amazing individual that people sleep on Woody. Woody is such a great person. I've met Woody and
you did. Also.
I've personally met Woody. Yeah, and he is such a great, amazing person. One day I'll tell you the guys a story, but this was many moons ago, so who knows? But Woody Harrelson always plays that like shisty character, that
shady kind of can't really trust him.
No, and he's so great in it. I loved it.
Maybe like a toned down version of his character from what's the zombie movie?
Zombieland.
From Zombieland. But he's more. He was the antagonist in this movie. Not evil, not the bad guy, but it felt like
he was just doing his job. Really, that's it.
But he was just like getting in the way, to for his own agenda or for the U.S. government's agenda.
Like he was putting the main characters like between a rock and a hard place.
He was.
Giving them no choice but to comply with what he wanted them to do.
But I love the scam to make sure, to make it look like he got what he wanted, and then you had the 2 side-by-side videos. What was America really watching? Were they watching the fake moon landing? And that scene was hilarious.
It all came down to that one damn cat.
That one black cat. That was the red herring throughout the movie.
Yeah,
that was the villain of the movie.
Okay, the black cat and bad luck.
yes, bad luck. But honestly, I don't know if this director has done anything else.
He's produced a lot of stuff.
He's a director. Actually, you know what movie that he famously flopped that he might have done? The Green Lantern movie. But I know him more for his TV work. He's like a co-creator of all the WB or CW superhero shows.
Yeah, The Flash, The Arrow.
He's like in a way like the Kevin Feige of that created
the CW verse.
The Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse. That's what they called it.
So he does have experience directing. I think I told you guys, and fun fact, that Channing Tatum's role was originally meant to be for Chris Evans, and
Yeah,
he had
that's what
he had
Which would have been a much more believable role, I think. I think Channing Tatum, this was definitely his most professional role yet. He did a great job. He did the best job he could do with it. But I didn't buy him as a 1960s, astronaut.
Yeah, he looked
man,
a little out of it.
Did he look-
NASA man.
Did he look like a man lost in time?
A little, I mean, in a way, a little bit, because like I was just seeing Channing Tatum. Well, I guess that was a joke that just flew over my head,
Yeah.
but it just, like guys in his position wouldn't have been like, jacked like he is and all that stuff. With
Right.
It just like a guy like Chris Evans. I think he just looks more like that 60s do-gooder dad looking type.
Well, that's because he played a 1940s character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, he proved he could do period
Yeah.
characters for sure.
And Scarlett Johansson was a producer on this movie, and
Why do you think her husband was playing one of the senators?
Yes, yeah, we got the cameo by Colin Jost.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
he played one of the influential senators that had a vote and influence on funding for the NASA program at
Right.
that time.
He was funny.
Yeah.
I will. So I mean, me being like the Apple head in the group, like I have to like make an Apple comment
Of
here.
course you do.
I feel like their TV efforts have been good because this is going to be like
No,
an
they're
Apple TV
great.
Plus thing. I've been really their
They're
TV
great.
efforts have been great. I feel like they still haven't cracked movies yet. Like
But they're working on it though.
it's getting better with this. Like this movie was like solid. It was great and everything was fun, but it's not iconic. Like they came close with Killers of the Flower Moon. I feel like, but this is like they need to have like an iconic, memorable. Like we're going to be talking about this in 20 years type of movie.
Well, they did have something iconic. They had Argyle, and Argyle
No,
was
we're gonna-
iconically garbage.
Yes, yeah, and I forgot about it after like 20 hours.
So
But-
it's iconic for being one of their worst $200 million movies ever made.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like this movie didn't really. It was really great, but it didn't move the needle with anything. But I feel like they're getting better little by little.
You mean
but-
like they played it safe? Is what you're saying?
And that I feel like that's like
But-
the common theme with a lot of their content, TV or movie, is that they have generally clean, safe for the most part content that it's gonna make money. It's gonna like get people watching. It looks good. It looks polished.
Right.
But it's a little too polished. It's a little too run of the mill is maybe the wrong way to put it, but like it's not. There's not enough risks being taken with like the story and the
Interesting.
writing. Yeah, in my opinion.
Fun fact: guess who was supposed to be the original director before Greg Berlanti came on board?
Tell us.
Jason Bateman.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I could see that happening. I
Interesting.
could totally see that happening.
So a lot of like comedic influence on it, and Channing Tatum has a
It is a comedy.
He has a history in comedy. I'm not too sure with Scarlett Johansson. I know as a producer on it, I think she mentioned, I saw in an interview that as the movie was developed, she's like, this role became more appealing. She's like, how can I not play this role?
Right. Yeah. No. You could tell that like Scarlett Johansson really felt this role. Like she was like really into it, and
Yeah, she went her whole in.
yeah. And like I said, being the character she was in this movie, I felt like she could resonate a lot with Black Widow. So
Funny question for Johnny. Did Woody Harrelson win you back over after hating after seeing him in Venom?
no, listen. Yeah, the Let There Be Carnage movie, like he was not the issue I had with that movie.
Okay.
Okay, there was like 100 other issues I had with that movie. He was not one of them. He's like I said, you put him in a movie, he'll just do his thing, and then you don't have to worry about him. He was fine. The rest of that movie was just garbage.
I have a question for you guys. The movie itself was 2 hours and 11 minutes long. Did it feel that long?
It didn't feel short, but it didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome.
Right, because usually comedies are like 90 minutes or so.
Yeah, it had good. There was no
The pacing, I think the pacing was so well done for a quote unquote rom-com. But yeah, I feel like it wasn't bad. It was 2 hours, but it was an enjoyable 2 hours.
It was just the right amount of time. It didn't feel like very quick and short and left you a lot to desire. It didn't feel too long and dragged. It was the perfect sweet spot, a little over 2 hours.
And it was like the writing was all like, the dialogue was very like quick and quippy and entertaining, and like the comedy was good. Like it kept everything rolling, and every scene, like I said, like I never felt like the movie was overstaying its welcome. Like there was nothing slow, nothing drawn out. So I think everything in the plot points, like they hit every nail. So
Yeah.
they did a good job.
I agree. Anything else? Guys hate anything about it?
I didn't really hate anything about it. No, like I said, it just didn't it didn't move the needle that much.
I hated the fact that it wasn't a true rom-com.
I think that's
probably would have.
It's miscategorized. I think
so.
It's like Titanic. Would you say that Titanic was a rom? Well, obviously it's not a rom comedy, but like it had a love story in the middle of a historic piece that was like the fictionalized love story within a historic piece.
But I wouldn't call it a historical piece.
But there's something. This is like the second. This is a second movie set, a fictional story set in the backdrop of a historical event. Unwaverly Gentleman with World War II movie.
Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Ungentlemanly Warfare. Like, yes, it's a true story, but everything, of course, was fictionalized. So,
I think this was just a straight up comedy.
I think so too.
I think you could safely say that this was just a straight up comedy movie. It had a little bit of like love and romance, like the chemistry between Channing and Scarlett was really good. I thought, you felt their love and everything, but like that was a minuscule part of the whole story, in my opinion.
And it did have a serious part when Cole was grieving the loss of those astronauts, and it happened on his watch, and you saw things get a little dark when that sleazy reporter brought it up and saying,
that scene, like with he got mad at the reporter and everything. If there's anything I dislike about the movie, it was that little subplot, because I felt that like that went nowhere and it didn't serve anything to the rest of the plot. It was just like, okay, like there's his his heartbreak, but like it didn't really do anything for his story with Scarlett or the job.
I can see your point, but I guess you could say it adds to his motivation to get this, to stick the landing, literally to get this mission accomplished because of his prior failure, at least what they wrote in the story. Like, that's why it's important. And you also have Woody Harrelson, representing the U.S. government. Like, they have to win the space race. Russia sent up the first satellite. We have to put the first man on the moon.
Right.
At all costs necessary, no matter who I have to fucking piss off.
Not wrong.
Everybody was super motivated to get their job done.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows that the villain of this movie is in the poster, and they're right here.
The black cat.
That damn cat.
So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But other than that, that's what we think. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section down below whether you saw it and liked it, saw it and hated it, or didn't think that this was a rom-com like we did. So let us know in the comments down below.